Hey everyone, this is Mr. Isometric, and in this video, we are going to talk about follow path bone constraint, a really interesting bone constraint that I have used in my own career. Now, let me just create a scenario in which you are going to use this constraint. So, usually there will be two bones, and let us say that my second bone is over there in that position, those 2 units apart in the x axis, like that. Let's turn on the name and axis. Axis is useful to see the local axis of each individual bone. Now, in the pose mode, if I go back and add a follow path bone constraint, you'll see that the target, it is asking us for a curve object, so we are going to add that. So shift A, and I will add in a curve circle. Now this is a cyclic curve. You can also use a non-cyclic curve if you want. So now let's go back, select the armature, let's select the bone in the pose mode, and let's assign our curve to it. Now as you saw that my bone, it suddenly changed its position from over there to here, and now what it is doing is it is on the curve right now, but exactly not on the curve but the path of the curve. So it is imagining that this curve is over here and it is on that curve. So if I now make the offset value change, you'll see that it is following the curve path. Now, if I take the curve itself and if I move it apart like this, you'll see that my bone 2, it kind of got an offset. And now if I move it like this, it was before moving between these 4 squares. Now it is moving between these 4 squares. So here you go. So do make sure that your curve, its origin actually is at the same origin as the armature, and for that you can always, after adding the curve or even before adding the curve, make sure that you press shift S and then snap your cursor to selected by selecting your armature, and then you can select your curve and then you can move your curve to the armature like that, and now your bone will move on the curve. Okay, nice. And now next thing, let's talk about the forward and upward axis. Now they are only useful when you are using follow curve. So let me first talk about fixed position and curve radius. So as you saw that offset, this goes from negative infinity to positive infinity, and it makes your bone to follow the curve. And also you can animate this value, by the way. So if I make it fixed position, then you'll see that my offset changes to offset factor. And now what this does is it goes from 0 to 1, and it completes one full circle, one full walk on the path itself. So if this was a non-cyclic curve, it would go from starting point to end point, and it is mapped to 0 to 1. So between 0 and 1, it will map a full circle or map a full path of your curve. But also you can change this value to, suppose, say 2. So now it will cross itself twice. So from 0 to 1, it crossed the path once, and from 1 to 2, it crossed the path 2 times. But there is one thing, that if you go to 0 and leave your mouse, it will now again be resetted to 0 to 1. So do make sure that while you're animating it, you put the values as well, like you manually place the values over here 10 and then animate it if you want. Okay, so that's how the fixed position works. Now the curve radius is something that I can look at. So if you go into the edit mode of the curve, press N to go into the properties panel, go inside the items, and you'll see that you have a mean radius. So if I select any of the point, you'll see that it has a weight, it has a radius, and it has a tilt angle. We will go into the tilt angle later, but do note that we can set manually the radius of each individual point, and you can check this via arrows over there, or you can also give this curve a little bit of depth just for a visual purpose. So now if you don't see these arrows, then you can always go over there on the top and you can change the arrow length over here. So let us say if I make this 0.1, and now if I set the curve radius, say over here, the curve radius is twice like this, and as you can see, all the other points, their curve radius is set to 1. You know what, I'll also select this point and I'll make its curve radius to be 0.5 over there like that. And now let's go back into the object mode, and let's go into the constraint again. Let's select this bone and let's check the curve radius. By the way, if I move it now, you'll see that nothing is being affected, I'll also turn off the fixed position so that I can move it again like in the cyclic position like this. So if I check the curve radius and if I now move my bone, you'll see that when it reaches to this point, basically it becomes smaller. So let me just move this curve over here like this. Okay, so over there our curve radius was 0.5 and over here it was bigger, and to visualize it better I think I will just turn on the depth. So as you can see, now let's go ahead and move it so it goes smaller, and then it goes bigger like this. So it is scaling itself up quite a lot, and it is moving in a kind of a oval way. So that's how this constraint works. Now this is going in a oval direction. It is because the curve radius. So let me just make the radius 1 over here, and let's make the radius 1 over here as well. So now this will again start to move in the circular fashion. There you go. So because it was scaling as well, it was scaling it in all the directions with respect to the armature's origin, and that is the reason why it was moving in the oval. But you can prevent that from happening. Also, the shortcut to increase the radius is Alt S. So as you can see, when I scale it, it scales itself up from this point and it scales over that direction. So I can move this back over there. Let's also go into the edit mode. Let's scale it again, and I will make it scale to go twice. And now let's see if it moves in oval, and it does. So it is actually trying to move it in circle, but now it gets scales up, gets scales down. Okay, so that's how the curve radius works. Now if you want the scaling to happen but you also want the curve to not go in this oval direction, you can always check the follow curve, and once you do that it will stay in the circle way, but it will also get scaled itself. Also the bone, it is not following the curve actually. So let me just make this put this somewhere else like this. And now if you go into the pose mode, you just have to select the bone. Also you need to make sure that your cursor is at the origin point of your armature. Select your bone in the pose mode and place your bone over there. So technically what you did is you made your bone to actually be at the origin, and if you turn on the constraint again, you'll see that it is following the curve exactly where it should. So right now it is scaling up, it is working exactly the way it should. Also what follow curve does is it forces your bone to follow the curve, and it also affects the direction where it is looking. So if you uncheck the follow curve, basically this axes, they are kind of useless. So it doesn't matter if I change it to X or Y, it is still going to follow the same. But as soon as I turn on the follow curve, you'll see that my z-axis, it is now pointing towards the curve tangent. Now I couldn't make any logical sense between forward axis and up axis, but I'm sure that it is affected by the tilt of the curve as well. So to demonstrate that, I'm just going to go into the curve and let's extrude this up like this. Okay, now let's also decrease the depth a little bit more like this. Okay, so now in the pose mode, if I go ahead and if I make changes to offset, you'll see that the scale is definitely affecting the curve and curve is following the path. But now a really cool thing, by experimenting with this, you can make your bone go certain way. So now as you can see, by experimenting with these values, when I select my Y up and X forward, my bone is right now perpendicular to the extruded region. So what I can do is now I can just select negative X and it will flip itself up. Now if I move it, you'll see that it is following the path. That's exactly what I want. Now you can go into the edit mode of the curve, select the curve, any point of the curve, and press Ctrl T, and now you can tilt that region of the curve. But also you can press N and then enter the tilt over here manually. So I'll just make it 90 degrees like this. And now if I move my bone like this, you'll see that it is rotating and scaling itself on that path over there. So a really handy tool if you want to add something like a train or a roller coaster. If you want to animate something like that, you can use it, this constraint like this. So do experiment with this up and forward axis whenever you are using follow curve. So a really handy tool. Also, you can anytime at any instant you can grab this point and make it bigger, go back, select the armature, and then you can animate this offset value and it will work. So yeah, that's how it works. But let's say that you don't want to animate it by yourself, so you can add a animate path. If you click on this animate path, you'll notice that nothing happened, but if you click on play now, you'll see that your bone, it is now following the curve itself infinitely, and you can make changes on the fly like this and it will still work. So you can even animate the curve if you want. But suppose say you don't want this anymore, you can find that the symbols on the animate path and your curve itself, they are kind of same. So that means that there is something on the curve that is controlling it. So if you go here in the graph editor, you'll see that when you click on the animate path, it added this evaluation time modifier. If you select the curve, you can see this. And if you turn this off, nothing is happening right now. If you turn it on, things appear. So this exponential curve, you can control it. The coefficient controls where the starting point is, and the first coefficient controls the speed of it, how fast it will go or how slow it will go. Also, you can add more variables to this. So now it has become parabolic. Now if I increase one more variable, it will become tangential. As you can see, this is a tan curve. So you can add as many variables as you want, but what I will suggest is to not use this. Also, if you want to remove this, remove it completely, you can select this and just press X and delete, remove it from over here as well. So what I usually suggest is to use the offset itself to animate it by yourself. That is, it will give you much more control over the curve. And yeah, that's how this constraint works. Also, the influence value, you can turn this constraint on and off at any given time. And if you have multiple constraints, you can stack them and you can use this influence as a weight value. Like this will now only affect the 50% of the curve and things like that. So yeah, that's how the follow path constraint work. If you still have any more doubts, you can ask them in the comment section below, or you can join the Discord server. So guys, I'm talking about all of this constraint in their own separate videos, and all those videos are in a single playlist. That playlist link will be in the description below. Also, thank you all so much for supporting me so far, and to keep that support, please like, share and subscribe. Thank you all so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.